Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. So a lot of you guys have heard by now, Max Kellerman is leaving First Take. So I don't know if it's because he was fired or he decided to leave on his own. What I do know is that, I don't really watch a lot of First Take anymore. I still think the best days was Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. But even like that ran its course eventually. And realistically, what I'm seeing here with Max Kellerman is the same exact thing that happened with Skip. And I think when Skip first started doing First Take with Stephen A., it was just like an actual good debate show. But over time, Skip was like, well, when I say stupid stuff, like it gets clicks, it gets ratings. And I think that's what was kind of forced upon Max. Where when Max was first on the show, it was like a breath of fresh air. It was like, okay, this guy like kind of knows what he's talking about. But over the years, it's like, hey, Max, can you say this controversial thing? Hey, Max, can you say this stupid thing that no real sports person would ever say? And I don't know if that just got to the point where he just stopped doing that, is getting fired because of it, or he's just like, I'm just done with it and I'm leaving to a different show. So we're going to check out this video by Dreamers Pro talking a bit about it. Because like I said, man, I don't know much about it. I guess Stephen A. Smith's thoughts and everything about it too. So let's get to it, man.
Hey everybody, this is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh
There we go. Link to his channel, description below, guys.
And in today's episode, I got an interesting one for you. In the topic is Stephen A. Smith finally breaks his silence on Max Kellerman leaving ESPN First Take. So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. The big news in the sports world, at least in the NBA, has been the news surrounding Max Kellerman.
There ain't nothing else going on lately, right?
We recently found out, we did a live on this, about a 45-minute live or so, where we discovered that Max Kellerman, in fact, will be leaving ESPN First Take.
I think it was confirmed today.
I read it from Fox News
confirmed
at this time via Outkick.com, and basically they were saying that the best kept secret in sports circles is that Stephen A. Smith doesn't like Max Kellerman.
Oh.
Right? And they basically said that whatever Stephen A. Smith wants, he gets at ESPN. Now, we all know he's the face of that network. He's certainly
literally putting the entire network on his back. Say what you want about Stephen A. Smith, but without him, ESPN's just done for. That's like their last, just like, hey, this guy's kind of, I mean, Stephen A. Smith, I got my opinions on him when it comes down to his sports takes and stuff like that, man. But he is ESPN. ESPN has gone down, just down the hill, bro, straight up.
Their highest paid employee, and he's
like $10 million a year, I think.
At that network, he's been there for quite some time, and of course, he has decades of experience in sports. So no one is surprised that he's paid that much. We did a video where we outlined sort of how Stephen A. Smith got to that position, working on ESPN First Take, where originally it was Skip Bayless on what was it, Cold Pizza, and then I think it was First Things First, and then they ultimately branded it into ESPN First Take, right? And Skip Bayless was the main staple on the show, and then ultimately,
used to love all those shows.
On, and they went 50-50.
Around the Horn was great back in the day.
Went to go be with FS1, where he started working with Shannon Sharp, and then Stephen A. Smith became the face of the show, and then ultimately, Max Kellerman was the guy that replaced Stephen A. Smith. Now, all throughout the years, I have said that I felt like the relationship between Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith was quite awkward.
Maybe a little forced.
I didn't see the same type of chemistry that I saw between Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless, or even to an extent between Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Right? They seem.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's why I haven't really watched it in recent years, because I sit there and I'm just like, it's not the worst fit in the world, but I was just kind of like, I don't know, man. I still think it was Max wasn't always allowed to act like how Max wanted to act. And a lot of that was trying to replace Skip Bayless instead of just, have a new, entirely new entity altogether. Oh,
a little bit more natural. Whereas the relationship with Stephen A. Smith, the chemistry rather, on TV with Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman seemed a bit contrived. It seemed that there was some genuine disdain for Max on certain occasions, at least on TV. Like, these guys really didn't like each other. And I felt like a lot of times Stephen A. Smith was a little bit too demonstrative when he was talking to Max Kellerman, a little bit too forceful when he was talking to him, where I felt like he was crossing the line sort of as a man. Some people tried to say, oh, no, that's how men talk. Again, this is not how men talk to each other.
It could just be Hollywood talk, though.
They don't respect other men talk to other men.
For the ratings.
Men that respect each other, this is not how you talk to, that's not how you talk to a friend, right? That's not how you talk to a colleague at work that you work with. So what are we talking about here? This is how men talk. There was an audio where Stephen A. Smith addressed the news that Max Kellerman will be leaving ESPN First Take ultimately to go do his thing, which I heard yesterday. So before I go too far, I want you guys to take a listen.
All right, let's hear it. I've not heard
Stephen
this
A.
yet.
Smith basically explaining,
this.
you know what's going on with him and Max Kellerman. So before I go too far, take a listen to that.
Max is supposedly leaving. That's a rumor that's going on. Supposedly you two don't really like him is what the rumor is out there, but y'all work together. Sometimes that's what happens. Is he really leaving the show?
Those reports about me disliking Max are an absolute lie. I actually got a lot of love for the guy. I think that he's incredibly smart. He's intelligent and what have you. Any issues that we've had pertaining to the actual debate show per se, it's some of the things that I've been very public about, as well as he is. He has a way of doing things. I have another way. But I can assure you, if he stays on the show, so be it. If he departs, it'll be because they have other things that they want him to do, that he's more than qualified to do on an elevated level.
Yeah, that right there, that's what you call a professional response. That's how you would respond to a coworker in that situation, not how you would respond to a friend. You can hear it in his voice. He does think of Max as a coworker, which is okay. I ain't saying you gotta love every single person you work with. God forbid I did, man. I mean, that's a story for another day. But yeah, man. So it sounds like maybe it's a more of a professional split up. Max wants to try new things, as opposed to maybe like they said the Mike and Mike in the morning. Remember that? Like that was a little more hurtful. Cause I felt like those two guys maybe just got sick of each other over time because they were with each other so much. But yeah, this I just feel like okay, yeah, it's time to try new things.
And you don't work with somebody for 5 years and never have any differences. But our differences were strictly as it pertained to a particular debate item that we may have tackled or whatever the case may be.
Now, in that soundbite, Stephen A. Smith says that, listen, first of all, he has nothing against Max Kellerman personally. Nothing against him. He said he has a respect for him as far as, a person, and, I think they have a cordial relationship. But he said that they have different ways of doing things. Now that right there is a little bit, ambiguous. It's a little bit unclear. It's very vague. Different way of doing things in terms of what that I don't know what they mean by that. If he meant that they have genuine differences when it comes to certain topics on TV, then I think that that's a good thing.
Well, I also think Stephen A. Smith and Max have both been into their own share of controversial circumstances that have that be sports or not sports related. It could even go as far as how they both handle those situations on and off the camera, and maybe how they respect each other towards handling those situations too. Maybe is the best thing I got out of it.
Because the more contrasting the views are, the better the debate. At least that's what Skip Bayless says. He said there's some genuine, topic items that him and Shannon Sharp completely disagree on. Like Shannon Sharp thinks LeBron James is the greatest player of all time.
We all know Skip don't.
Bayless doesn't. So there's going to be genuine disagreement, which makes it good for TV. So when he says that, I'm not really quite sure what it is. And I remember some people in the past said, no, it's just TV. And I said, listen, if these guys were such good actors on TV, they'll be working in Hollywood right now. They'll be making millions of dollars, working on motion pictures. Nobody acts that well. Right, I said that something was a little bit off there, right? So he went on to say that he said the position that Max Kellerman is going to take, I think he's going to end up having his own show around boxing or whatever it is.
With
he said that he feels that he's
Deion Sanders, I think
he
said.
He has 100% confidence in Max Kellerman to go out there and do a sensational job in his new role, but he feels as if that ultimately they weren't a perfect pairing. Now, for me,
I thought they got kind of boring.
Set up a possible reunion between himself and Skip Bayless. Some people say how. Well, we did a video recently on our channel 2 days ago. It's called "Shocking Audio Revealing Why Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp May Be Coming to an End Sooner Than You Think," where Skip Bayless basically gives his thoughts on a possible reunion with Stephen A. Smith, and he said that's something he'll be open to doing. Right.
That would be cool. I just wondering how that would make, how they would end up doing that with, obviously Fox Sports Network and ESPN. Like, is one leaving the other? Man, if Stephen A. just signed that big contract, I think, not too long ago, so I don't think that would be the case. I think it'd have to be Skip coming back, or maybe they go and do their own thing. That'd be big time.
Right, so if you guys missed that video, just go on our channel. We published it 2 days ago, so you guys can just go check it out and see for yourself. And we will link it in the end of this in the description, so you guys can definitely check that out, because where Skip Bayless basically openly says that, you know, that's something that he would.
I can see him doing like a one-off reunion show eventually
with Stephen A. Smith, which I think is something that is possible. Now, he just signed a new deal with Fox Sports. I don't know how long the deal.
Yeah, they both signed
4-year deal, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know how that's going to work out, given the fact that Skip Bayless, I think, is 69 years old, so he's not exactly a spring chicken. So, but anyway, that has nothing to do with what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that after listening to what Stephen A. Smith had to say, I think that he's being honest. Obviously, he didn't come out there and say every single thing because he doesn't have to. But I generally think that these guys just were not a good match. I think that Stephen A. Smith generally didn't have respect for Max, and I think Max Kellerman knew that Stephen A. Smith was the star of the show, and he couldn't try to ultimately show him up on TV, right? Because he's still the boss, and
yeah, couldn't show him up, and also I think just. It's hard to have an argument with somebody who always thinks they're right, which is why Skip and Stephen A. Smith were so fun together, because they both always thought they were right. But they were completely opposite ends of the spectrum, where like I feel like Max, over time, it's like he was trying to debate and be right, but you know, Stephen A. was never having it, and that's why he got to the most trollish side. He's just like, well, it's like, all right, like if you're not gonna go, I'm just gonna troll or whatever. So, that's interesting, man. That's interesting to think about. A lot of good points in this video.
Said to Max Kellerman on numerous occasions, listen, bro, I'm the head honcho here. So I think, it was inevitable. I didn't expect it to happen this soon, but
yeah, 5 years.
Looks like this relationship is over, and I guess we have to wait and see who's going to be the next partner with Stephen A. Smith on the show, or ultimately it's just going to be him. Similarly, the way, Skip Bayless was the main staple on Cold Pizza, where he would invite different people on, like Chris Broussard, Rob Parker.
I do like that idea.
Smith. So I guess we have to wait and see. So what I want to know from you guys is, what are your thoughts on the situation?
I really do like that idea of them like rotating out guests, but then again, it's also hard to get that many guests, and I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that would go on the show and everything, but yeah, this is interesting. I mean, maybe it's the end of that type. Maybe it's the end of Stephen A. Smith doing that type of show. Maybe he just focuses on something else. I don't know. They'll think of something. It's going to be a nice, refreshing take, though. Hey, refreshing take. Instead of first take, this is a refreshing take. But no, this is a really good video here by Dreamers Pro, guys. Check out his channel. Link in the description below. So we got, thank you very much for summing this up, man. Thank you all so much for watching, and peace out, my friends.